Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Peter and this is my vlog. Today I'm going to talk to you about coding, software engineering and architecture and what it means to be involved in one of those industries in today's day and age when we've had a lot of this news about tech layoffs and also about ChatGPT. So let's get right into it. Before I get into the topic of what I wanted to talk to today, I'll give a little bit of background about exactly what it is that I've been involved in and why I might be an authority to talk about the subject. So I've been involved in software development for about 25 years, since I was 15, building software, writing code, managing teams. I've been a business owner, so I've been involved in a lot of industries, from video games to fintech to IoT. Worked with clients all around the world, different types of companies, from fashion to events management, and healthcare. So along the way, I've noticed a certain trend where things get built, and you can look back as far as 200 years ago when a particular technology is built as a tool that is said to replace something which people used to do. So a good example is, a really easy example of this is computers will replace books, or Kindle will replace books, because you don't need a book, you have a digital copy. But that hasn't happened, and that's just one simple example of where a technology is created that makes it simple and more accessible for things to be done, for things to be accessed. And going to start with the ChatGPT set of tools is that ChatGPT is just the same thing. It's a tool that can be used to add value to what it is that you are already making, the code that you're already writing. So it's the same kind of thing. So that really gets to the core of the idea of ChatGPT, is that there's this new technology that's come up. It's a great tool that's going to be applied to the industry and people will make use of it, but it's not going to replace the very idea of having to think to solve problems. And so that takes me to the next step, whereas there seems to be in the industry, especially on YouTube and especially on commentators about this topic in software engineering, is that we're not seeing for the forest for the trees. And what I've realized is that any language, any idea, any algorithm, anything that you want to do, you can learn. It's not like you don't have to be a genius to understand these things. A lot of times people think these things are really difficult, but it's simply about the fact that you need time to understand these. So in 25 years, there's still things that I would need time to sit down and learn. And I do every week. Every week I pick up something to read, whether it's a paper, whether it's a topic of discussion, whether it's a book, whether it's some coding exercise about a particular thing that I want to either refresh on or that I want to learn. So after 25 years with a university degree, you're always learning. That goes without saying. So if that's the case, and I'm saying that we're not seeing the forest for the trees, then what are we missing? What is the tunnel vision that we've created? And I think that people are looking too much at the work. They're looking too much at what software engineering is, and you have to learn this, and there's so many different places you can learn about code, and that's great. We have access to all this, and that's not the fundamental thing that's going to make you productive, and it's going to help you enjoy what you're doing. And I want to take a step back and look at two fundamental pillars that are based on creating an environment where you will be able to enjoy more of what you do and have a more fulfilling life in both your personal and your professional work. And it's really simple. It's just, there are two things that people can focus on in order to become better at everything else that they do in the work that they do. And we seem to have created this culture where you want to focus on your work and you're working, and that's the most important thing. But no, it's actually not. And you can ask this to ChatGPT and it'll reply to you with the same answer, is that fundamentally your health and your and your human relationships are far more important than the work that you do or what you learn. So getting those right first is going to be more important. So if you focus on your health, your mental, your physical and emotional health first, and that's going to lead to a more productive and more interesting work life. And one thing I do want to mention in relation to this is that I've very rarely ever solved a problem by sitting in front of a computer and writing code. The problems that I've solved, they happen when I go for a walk. They happen when I'm out for a run, when I'm at the gym, when I'm just away from the desk and I've gone to think. And sometimes when I'm even, when you're in the shower, you just have these ideas and you kind of like, you switch off that tunnel vision, and for some reason these ideas can come up out of nowhere and you solve whatever problem that you're faced with. And sometimes these things can take 1 or 2 days, so you might not even, you might be bouncing around ideas of how to design a system, and there's a lot of variables and factors involved in how do you approach this problem. And you really, at that point, if you're looking at a line of code and you're looking at the IDE, then you're not going to be able to look at that bigger picture. You'd have to get onto a whiteboard, dump some ideas, go for a walk, have a think about it. And having their health there really helps facilitate this process. So your health is one fundamental aspect. Another fundamental aspect that people miss out on, and that very few people comment on in the software industry, especially in the education of software, is your relationships with friends, your relationships with your family, and the relationships with your coworkers, but more importantly, the close relationships that really build the foundation of your life. So having good relationships, and I know there's personal experiences that the wrong type of relationships, toxic relationships, have a hugely negative impact on your work life. So getting that right, getting your health right, getting your relationships right, these two things will help support the driving force of your desire, your curiosity, the learning, the actual ideas behind software engineering. And Alex Ziskin also mentioned the idea that it's not code that's the future, it's software engineering, it's building a product. And that's so true, because in many applications, you're not even actually writing that much code. So if you wanted to write a backend server with a lot of moving pieces, you don't write all the stuff from scratch. You pick up pieces and plug them in on you install these applications on your server with apt-get, or even with building software, so much as they're based on third-party components. You use npm to install your dependencies. There are these tools that you use that have their own language, right? So, for instance, Docker is not a programming language, but it has its own language that is an implementation of some set of details, and you need to become versed in it to understand how it works. And so, going back, if you've got these foundational aspects, you can see, you have good memory, you have, sharp focus, you can, pick up things, you can be sharp as, you can put together a project with ideas, you can relate to people with good relationships, you're more upbeat, you're more attractive to people. So those two things really are the core idea of this conversation. If you're interested in more of this kind of stuff about code, I've got a separate channel that I'm starting to work on called Tech Suvara, so we can jump on that at some point, and I'll continue the conversation about these things there. But I really want to hone in on the fact that your health is so important, especially if you look at the idea of health being 70% of what you eat, and around 30% based on the general conversations and discussions that happen that I've read about with health experts, is that exercise contributes, but it's more, if you don't eat well, the exercise will have little impact on your health. So eat well, get a little bit of exercise, go for a walk, go for a run. I used to exercise 5 days, 6 days a week, about 1.5 hours. And now it's down to 3 days a week, while I focus on my mornings on other aspects. So it's 3-4 days a week, go for a run. And this, and also eat really well. And that helps me be able to do everything that I really, really want to do, especially with the work that I do. So guys, that's it. That's what I wanted to mention, is that take a step back, especially in this tough environment where you may have been laid off from one of the big tech companies. You're not sure what you want to do. Have a think about those core things and start working on them. A lot of the things around you will fall into place. Don't forget about that. Don't forget about the importance of your physical, mental, and emotional health and your relationships. And with that, I want to wish everyone luck, and hopefully 2023 is going to be a great year for tech. We've got a lot of amazing things that are coming out, and I'm really excited about the future. So thanks for listening, guys. If you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one.